Triggers, that's a big one for me. I learned about triggers long ago, and I've been learning about them ever since. I learned about them since the age of 16. My first what was it, a NA meeting or something like that. But basically, you got to know more. It's got to be more than just your triggers. You know what I mean? You got to know what's behind those triggers, what fueled that to be a trigger for you, because not everyone's triggers are the same. You know, but for me, it's being able to identify those triggers, because we can get hit from so many different angles, and if we're not focused and if we don't get on our knees in the morning, and if we don't give all glory to God, and if we don't give Him the praise and thanks for what we have, then we'll be too hungry for what we don't, got. You know what I mean? And we'll go in the wrong direction. And when we do that, to me, it's just giving into those triggers, because I'm triggered to have a nice gold chain. I'm triggered to have all these things, or I'm triggered in the negative, and not to say that's a negative thing, but I'm triggered in negative ways too, to go on stage if somebody was to say something about my wife and stop them, you know what I mean? But that's the thing though, I mean, to understand that this is a trigger that I'm getting right now, you know what I mean, when it happens, because it happens so quickly. It's not something that sometimes it is something that gradually works its way up to you, but when it's not, and it's something that just happens so fast, you got to be ready for it. You know what I mean? You got to be ready for those triggers to where you make the right decision, so where you get the best outcome. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You got to pray for that. You got to understand that strength is going to come from somewhere. You know what I mean? You don't build that strength on your own. You know what I mean? You get that strength from the Lord that He blesses us with. Because if we don't use it, I don't know to say that we'll lose it, but we'll lose it. Definitely lose it if you don't use it.
You at least won't be armored up with it.
Yeah, and to me, it's like you gotta. People say all the time, you gotta get in where you fit in. I don't believe that saying. I believe it's put in where you fit in. Because if you don't put in where you fit, then how does this wheel still spin? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. If you're supposed to be a spoke in this tire in this rim, and you're not putting in, and you're not holding up your amount of pressure, then how can this tire keep spinning? And then it just boils down to knowing. Like we said already earlier, knowing our triggers, knowing what gets us off track, knowing what sets us back, knowing what can bring us out of character, things like that. Because man, it's a cold world out there.
No, I was gonna. Are you done? My bad.
Oh, man,
well, pretty much. Somebody, I'm gonna tell you all something real quick, man. This happened to me the other day, a couple weeks, actually about a week and a half ago. Me and my daughter ride our bikes kind of often, and the other day, I go out there and I'm like, let me see my bike is here, because I'm gonna, maybe go out for a ride by myself, or maybe take her or whatever. And I go in my backyard and my bike is gone.
Oh man! I
don't live in the best neighborhood, but for someone to walk all the way up my driveway,
who does?
All the way up my driveway, and to go back into my backyard, that's where my kids sleep. So that kind of set me off.
Yeah.
So that was a huge trigger, although I didn't give in to the whole trigger scenario and being aware. I went all for it. So I was out there looking for my bike. I'm out there. Really, I don't even care about my bike. I want to see who got it. I want to see who got it, because I want to see who's who thinks it's okay to come up here, because I'm going to let them know it's not. You know what I'm saying? And I almost went the wrong direction. It wasn't my mind, because that was a trigger and I didn't pay that, any attention. But when I saw my bike and I thought about it, I'm like,
no
man,
way, you saw him?
Oh, I found my bike. Yeah, I got my bike. I know where to go. I know, you know what I mean? I know what's going on around me, but that's the thing though. You know what I mean? It's just knowing when those triggers are hitting real tough and real hard, you know what I mean? And being able to not give in to them, but to think logically while they're hitting, you know what I mean? And to make the right decision, make the right moves, and to keep it pushing.
Yeah. So